I thought that doing a singing lesson would mean that I'm not a singer. Or,
Who told you you weren't a singer?
The whole internet. I was worried that a singing teacher would just tell me I wasn't a good singer.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that was gonna happen. I didn't know that was possible. I thought, like, this is the voice that I have and it is the way it is.
I'm really excited today because we get to analyze one of Billie Eilish's interviews where she talks about her mindset. She talks about how she got to be such an extraordinary singer. She has lots of good advice to give us, so let's get started. Hi, I'm Jimena Cabrera. I am a singer, a songwriter, a vocal coach, and the founder of the Singing Panda, a singing academy where we help you develop your voice holistically, that is mentally, emotionally, and technically. A voice that reflects your authentic self and the message that wants to be expressed through you.
And I also, was kind of told for so many years that I wasn't a singer because a singer has a big, powerhouse voice.
Yeah.
And,
Who told you weren't a singer?
The whole internet. Like, honestly. And also every single, music, whatever those shows are called, like all of those audition music shows. Every single show that I loved so much growing up watching, all of those talent got whatever that I loved, that every judge on those shows would just be like, if you're a soft singer, then that's not enough. Like, you can't, you need to do more. I need you to project, and I need, I need you to be able to belt these really high notes and do all these crazy runs. And so I kind of just thought I wasn't, like, I couldn't do those things. And so I was like, oh, well, I guess that's not, like, I watched people on those shows, have really beautiful, soft voices, and they get rejected because of that. Yeah. And so I thought, oh, okay, well, then that means, like, I'm not a real singer because I can't really do that. So, okay, whatever. I love singing, but I guess I'm not a singer.
Yeah.
And because I also sang kind of quietly when I started out, and I kind of, people always said I whispered, that was the whole thing, that I whispered, and I was, it was really, really quiet and soft and stuff. It's like, there was a lot of, like, oh, well, because of that, that's not real singing. So I always had this kind of idea that I wasn't really a good singer.
Well, I don't know if you can relate to that, but of course, if you look at talent shows, you will always see these people, these same people winning, usually people with very big voices who can belt and who can do crazy runs, like she says. And you might be tempted to believe that that is what singing is, right? That is what we understand by singing well, being a real singer, right? And of course, that's not true. There's a variety of voices out there. We're all different. We're all unique. And I think it has more to do with you finding what makes you unique and what gives you joy when you're singing, and not so much about trying to mimic the way that someone else sings, right? That's not what I would think art lives. Art has got a lot to do with freedom, with the freedom to be yourself, to express yourself in an unrestricted way. And if that's done through you singing runs and belting, wonderful, go ahead. But if that's not the way that you are built, that your instrument is built, or that's not something that you enjoy doing, of course, it doesn't mean that you are not a real singer. And that's what she got to understand over the years. She'll talk in this interview about how she became more in tune with her instrument, and she got to understand how it works, really. So that's later on in the interview. But she went from believing that your voice was something that is fixed and that cannot be changed to understanding that it's an instrument and it can be improved over the years. And also she got to understand that there isn't just one way in which you get to sing. There are multiple ways, and the more you get acquainted with your specific way, the way in which it resonates for you, in which you feel good while singing, then the better it is. The more authentic you are, the better it feels, and the better that other people get to appreciate what you can do. Mindset shift number 1. I'm not a real singer because I can't belt. There isn't just one way to sound like a singer. Belting and doing runs are expressive choices, not the definition of great singing.
I thought that doing a singing lesson would mean that I'm not a singer, or like I can't sing somehow.
Yeah.
I had never really done any like singing lessons aside from like growing up in a choir and stuff.
Yeah.
And I met someone who I started working with and doing singing lessons with. And I kind of had this idea that like, you know, oh, if you can sing, then you don't need to do singing lessons. Singing lessons are for people that can't sing.
Yeah.
And like, singing lessons are for anybody.
Yeah.
You don't have to, you can just do them.
Yeah.
And what I didn't really know until I started doing it was like, it's an instrument that you can practice and you know, improve.
She had a certain way of thinking about something, and then she was curious enough and open enough to try it out and to say, okay, so what happens if I start to take singing lessons? Maybe I'll be surprised. And she was actually. And so that's something that we can admire. We can look up to her in this sense as well, and the fact that not only because of her artistry, but also for the fact that she is able to change, right? And to adapt. And that is something, that's an ability that we need, right? If we want to improve at things. In this case, she's talking about singing. And you'll see later on how she found singing lessons to be something that really made a difference in the way that she is now using her instrument. Mindset shift number 2. Real singers don't take singing lessons. Singing lessons are for everybody. Your voice is an instrument, and like any instrument, it can be trained.
I don't know, but like you have to think about like the greatest, you know, the most talented people at the thing that you like doing take lessons. They have a teacher, you know. The greatest, you know, tennis players all have coaches.
Yeah.
You know, every athlete has a coach.
Yeah.
The best in the world. You don't just like get good and then you just stop. It's just not how it works. And I don't think I really understood that or like could allow that to happen.
Exactly right. So the more professional that you get at what you like to do, in this case singing, the more you need to keep improving. There's always room for improvement, no matter what your level is. And if you're considering being a professional singer, or maybe you think that's in your future at some point, then the more you need to keep training your voice, because when you get to be a professional singer, you'll have to give concerts very often. You have to be using your voice even to give interviews. You know, everything will be connected with how you use your voice. And the more comfortable you are with your instrument, the better use you're going to be able to make of it, and the better it's going to feel as well. She also talks about how it feels now to sing, now that she has been taking singing lessons for a while. So that will be later on in the interview. But it's very important that we understand that the more professional you are, then the more you're in need for singing lessons. And again, congrats, Billie, on being so open. I really admire this about her. Because for a lot of people, it's like, no, I believe this to be true, and then they don't give themselves the possibility to investigate and to look into maybe a different possibility. And this is not her. This is something that I believe makes her the artist that she is. Her ability to self-actualize, to actualize the way that she thinks about life, about, in this case, this specific skill, and about specifically learning to sing, taking singing lessons. So pay attention to that, because I think that's a very important part of what makes her Billie Eilish. Mindset shift number 3. Once you get good at singing, you stop learning. Professional singers never stop improving. Even world-class artists continue working with vocal coaches to refine their craft.
And I also have always been scared of being bad at stuff.
Yeah.
And because of my kind of insecurity of like, well, I'm not a big singer, so I'm not a good singer, I was worried that a singing teacher would just tell me I wasn't a good singer.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
Of course, a teacher is not there to judge you in any way. It's there to help you become more of who you are, right? At least a real teacher will never tell you, I mean, you cannot do this or you cannot do that, right? A real teacher will always give you constructive criticism, will help you become more of who you already are. So she had this insecurity. She felt that she was not as good of a singer as other singers, which is amazing. Think of it. Obviously, it's not true, but sometimes we do have these fears that are irrational and that are not necessarily based on what's actually happening on real life. We are just in our heads, right? So if you find a real teacher who can actually help you improve and get better at what you love doing, then you should never be afraid that they will be judging you. At least that's not where I'm coming from. Like, I would never judge someone. On the contrary, I want them to shine, basically. So that's what a real teacher does. They want to see you succeed, right? And so she had this fear, and then luckily she found someone who helped her become more comfortable with her instrument. Mindset shift number 4. A teacher's job is to judge talent. A teacher's job is to help you grow. Great vocal coaches don't decide your potential. They help you develop it.
There's a fear that you're going to give something up.
Yeah. Or it's going to change you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But instead it's empowering.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's like the greatest thing I've ever gotten to do. This like precious thing of mine. It's kind of like when you love a show, like a TV show so much, and then somebody else is like, I love that show, and you're like, okay, leave me alone about it. That's my show.
Yeah, not the way I do, you don't.
Yeah, you don't know it the way that I know it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of how I felt about it. This idea that if you take singing lessons, it will somehow hinder you instead of empowering you, right? I have heard people talk about this online. Of course, I don't agree with this. Technique is there to help you gain more ease so that you can actually express your uniqueness through singing. So it's never there to hinder your expression. It's there to empower you and to help you become more who you already are, like I said before. So she did have this belief. She was able to shift, right? She was able to do a mindset shift and to understand that obviously by trying it out, right? So she tried taking singing lessons, and she found that it was quite the opposite. She was feeling more free after taking singing lessons, and that technique was helping her have more possibilities, right? And I don't know if you've ever heard of this, or if you think about technique being something that can prevent you from becoming more of who you are. Let me tell you, it's not really not true. And try it out and you'll see that if you started learn how to be more in command of your voice, that will only make you feel more free. Mindset shift number 5. Singing lessons will make me lose my uniqueness. Technique expands your artistic choices. The better you understand your voice, the more authentically you can express yourself.
What's great about it for you?
I mean, it's like growing. It's growth.
Yeah. Have you found some part of yourself you didn't even know was there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, my voice. Like I can't tell you how many results I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know that was possible. I thought, this is the voice that I have, and it is the way it is, And I'll never be able to do a run like that. I'll never be able to belt that note. I'll never have this range, and I'll never, sing this low of a note. Or it's just not true. Like, it's just not. And it's like, I can't express how gratifying and satisfying and fulfilling it has been to learn these things about my own voice that's in my body that I didn't even know I was capable of.
So she went from having a fixed mindset, this idea that skills, abilities are fixed, right? And they cannot be improved through learning, to having a growth mindset, understanding that you can get better at everything, actually. You can get much better at singing, and you can get much more comfortable with your singing, with your voice, if you take lessons, if you learn, right? So this is something that stops a lot of people from taking singing lessons, from learning in general, because I see this happen a lot with singing, specifically, or even with playing instruments, with music, with learning music or learning to dance, for example. So with the arts, right? This idea of talent, right? And you either having talent for something or not having talent for that thing. And usually people believe that if you found this skill challenging as a child, then that means that you're not good at it, right? Because it's hard, right? And this is obviously not true. We can all get better at everything. I'm actually taking dance lessons now. I started taking dance lessons 3.5 years ago. And I mean, I'm someone who would never even dance at parties, right? Practice what you preach, right? So in my case as well, I'm always trying to get curious about new skills that I can learn. And so I know from my own experience, from teaching students all over the world, singing to students all over the world, and also from my own experience as a learner, that there's always room for improvement. And this is what Billie is saying right here. She used to think that her voice was her voice, right? And there were certain things that she was not able to do, like belting or runs. And now she's noticing how much her voice is improving through training. This is just the voice I have. Your voice is always evolving. Training gives you new possibilities, new colors, and new ways to communicate through singing.
And like, I can't even tell you how amazing the experience of you know, working on my instrument has been.
Right.
And that being my voice. It's like, I've never felt so connected to myself, and more, like, now I believe in myself, and it's just fun. It just feels good. And it's also like, it can be emotional. Like, it makes you get out of your, it's like it pushes you out of your comfort zone, which is
Right.
always scary, obviously.
Yeah.
So this idea of feeling liberated, feeling also that it's scary sometimes. It can be scary in the sense that there are things that are going to feel challenging, and you might experience while you're learning a little bit of frustration at times. Here over the Singing Panda, we work a lot on having the right expectations, working on your mindset and your emotions, so that the process of learning is pleasurable, right? But she says that she did experience some feelings of uncertainty at times, which is normal when you're learning something new. But she moved through those feelings, those emotions. She didn't let her emotions stop her from what she was wanting to achieve, right? And in the next part of the interview, she continues to talk about all the benefits that come from taking singing lessons, and also something that I want you to pay attention to. She says something about her voice changing over a short period of time. And this is true. I mean, it's not like you start to take singing lessons and you have to wait years and years and years to start to see results. You start to see results right away.
I just have all these new choices that I can make. And
Right.
I'm singing these songs that, when I was recording them, were the hardest songs I'd ever recorded, and I couldn't hit the notes, and I couldn't do it, and I was stressed out and you know, scared, and now I hit them like it's nothing, and I can change them, and I can play with them, and it's like, God, it's amazing. Like, learning is so amazing. I cannot stress enough how incredible it feels to learn.
Yeah.
Right? Singing is amazing. Here is a summary of the ways in which singing lessons have helped her. Singing lessons help you step outside your comfort zone, discover new expressive possibilities, Expand your artistic choices. Make singing feel easier and more natural. Enjoy the learning process. Billie is the perfect example of what it means to have a growth mindset. It's so refreshing to listen to her talk in general, and especially in this interview where she talks about learning, right? And so you can see how important it is for an artist to be able to shift the way they think and to be able to be open to new possibilities, because that's where growth happens, when you allow yourself to try new things, right? In this case, it was singing for her. So I hope that you enjoyed watching her interview and the insights that I shared with you. And also know that if you're open to taking some lessons, I'm gonna leave all the information for you to reach out to me below in the description box below. And if you're open to, just experimenting a little bit more with your voice, improving, getting more comfortable, getting more freedom, that's a possibility for you as well. It was for Billie and obviously for you as well, right? So thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in this content, you can like the video, subscribe, comment, leave me some questions, and I'll be seeing you in our next video. Happy singing. Bye-bye.